Life's stressful, isn't it? You get up every day, you get ready for work, you get your kids up, get them ready to go to school. You drive an hour to work each day, and once you get to work, the customers are screaming at you, your boss is screaming at you. And you drive an hour home, only to walk into the door, and your kids need something for the project that's due tomorrow. Mom, I need markers. Mom, I need a big poster board. So you drop what you had planned, and you run to the store, pick it up for them. You come home, you make dinner, you clean up, and then you help your kids with their homework. You tuck them into bed, and then finally you get to work on your homework. My name's Laura Randall, and this, what I've described to you, is my life in a nutshell as a full-time employee, as a full-time mom, and as a full-time student. Stresses can affect you every day in your life, and I'm going to talk about 3 ways of coping with stress. I'm going to use the Integrative Psychology book by Drs. Freeberg and Dr. Capicola. The first form of coping with stress is what we call the problem-focused coping. And what this means is you focus on the problem, you attack it head-on. There's some positive responses to problem-focused coping. The first one is you self-talk. And when you self-talk, you can learn to relax and calm yourself down. Another positive strategy is, if that's not working for you, then you get an appointment with a counselor or your professor to see what's going on. An example would be if you flunk a test or you get fired from a job. You can either choose to, address it, or some negative responses would be to avoid it completely. I compare that to like when you do lose your job. You would ignore some bills that come in. Oh, if I ignore them, they'll go away, but they don't. Instead, they build. Another negative response would be if you just drop it. Just forget, avoid it completely. You run away from it. Like if you flunk a test, instead of dealing with it, you run away from school. You drop out and then you don't go back. These can be some negative ways to deal with the stress. The second type of coping is called emotion-focused coping. And this is useful when you have negative feelings about what the stressor is, such as when you are fired from a job or you flunk a test, you can feel sad or discouraged or depressed. So some positive ways to deal with stress are go out and exercise. Exercising releases endorphins, and when you release endorphins, you feel happier. Another is to get away from the situation for a little bit. If you take a nap, just for a little bit, or you go out with a friend to a movie, just to escape it for a little bit so that you feel refreshed and you can deal with it. Now, according to familydoctors.org, another way to manage the emotions is to adapt to the new stressor. Focus on the positive. If you're fired from a job, a good way to focus on it would be to say, hey, this is a chance for me to change my life, to do something I really enjoy. So instead of focusing on the negative, focus on the positive and not just the situation. The last way to cope would be relationship-focused coping. And this type of coping helps you manage your relationships in your life. If you find yourself that you have to start taking care of an elderly parent, maybe who has Alzheimer's, there's some positive things that can happen. You learn to empathize with that person. So you learn empathizing with this relationship coping. Another is you learn compromise. And when you have relationships with people, when you compromise, a lot of times it can take a lot of the stress off of you yourself. Some negative aspects would be you would start to blame others. So, like let's say you fail that test, you blame, oh, the professor doesn't like me, so he flunked me. So that's a negative aspect of it. You could also learn to withdraw from others when you're in a group and just bury your head in the sand, and that's not going to help with the stresses in life either. According to Aronson, there's a tend and befriend. And what this means is when you learn to nurture yourself, you tend to yourself, you can drink a cup of hot tea and just relax and just feel free to be yourself. And then befriending, if you are dealing with something, get a good social network going, someone who's going through the same types of things you are. And that can help relieve stress. So in conclusion, life is stressful. Once you feel like you're over one stress, another one always seems to hit you. But by using these 3 coping mechanisms, the problem-focused stressor, the problem-focused, the emotional-focused coping, and the social relationship focusing, it can help you with all of your stresses that you're encountering.